CD Projekt Red began this year with a beep. 5 years after revealing Cyberpunk 2077's first teaser trailer, we got our first official signs of life with a one-word tweet. About a month and a half later, it seems Cyberpunk 2077 cannot stay out of the news, and it truly seems everything is pointing at a big E3 2018 reveal. Today we have a lot to discuss, including some new information coming directly from CD Projekt Red, and some other potential leaks that have been going around. But first we're going to begin with the Pareto Securities Gaming Seminar, in which CD Projekt had a presentation and took questions regarding the future of the Witcher franchise, GOG, Gwent, and Cyberpunk 2077. Discussion on Cyberpunk 2077 was pretty short, but here's a clip of co-CEO of CD Projekt Red, Adam Kaczynski, discussing this upcoming game.
Cyberpunk is our new Witcher 3, but even more ambitious. Our goal is to establish a new blockbuster franchise from the beginning. We work in new universe, futuristic universe. We believe it's very appealing to players, not only RPG players, but this is true RPG, like Witcher 3.
Now, the initial takeaway is obviously the emphasis on Cyberpunk 2077 as a blockbuster franchise. But if you look closely at this slide, there's also an even bigger takeaway, with this slide reading, "Establish a new blockbuster franchise set in a futuristic world blending science fiction with modern culture, and additionally rich true-to-life visuals built on current and next-generation technology." So this now goes back to the leak I reported on in early January, in which a source at Sony said that they had received an early tech demo of Cyberpunk 2077. Some people were scratching their heads, as obviously CD Projekt Red has their own PS4 dev kits, but at least from this slide it may confirm that maybe, just maybe, Cyberpunk 2077 is being worked on as a cross-generation title. This would also make a little bit more sense why Sony would be getting an early tech demo of the game to possibly test and see how the game's engine runs on the PlayStation 5, which is right now being rumored to come in 2019 or 2020, which probably does fit the time frame Cyberpunk 2077 will be releasing. But continuing on, Adam Kaczynski also talked a little bit more about what Cyberpunk 2077 is.
For mature audiences, it's handcrafted, detailed, of course, open world with open-ended gameplay. So great game, more ambitious than Witcher 3. And we believe that we can aim more ambitious business goals as well. Of course, still having gamer-centric focus and quality focus as a main priority.
Later in this video, we're going to discuss more about monetization, but as Adam Kaczynski stated, they are all about the gamers first, and in this current gaming climate, you don't get that feeling very often with the other big companies like EA, Activision, Ubisoft, Take-Two, and so on and so forth. But after this presentation, there was also a short period that CD Projekt Red's CEO and CFO took questions. The first question that was asked that I want to highlight is about what comes after Cyberpunk 2077. Specifically, the individual that was asking this question brought up in 2016 that CD Projekt outlined a 5-year plan from 2017 to 2021, which includes Cyberpunk 2077 and another mysterious big RPG. So this individual basically asks, if The Witcher is done, what comes next? And Adam Kaczynski responds with this.
We've never said, we've said in our strategy that we have two franchises, Cyberpunk and Witcher, and that's it for now. So we are, speculating about another IP there is no reason to speculate about another IP. We are working on two franchises, Cyberpunk and Witcher, full stop. So if there is another game, it will be Cyberpunk or Witcher.
Obviously right now and for the foreseeable future, it's just Witcher and Cyberpunk games. But the next question is in regards to when we will see gameplay of Cyberpunk 2077, in which Adam Kaczynski responds with this.
When it's ready.
But the first gameplay, no, before when it's ready. The first gameplay, when, we can't comment on this. The campaign will start one day, and you will see it. So we can't start campaign of the campaign. So we don't want to start campaign of the campaign.
It should be noted that one of Poland's biggest gaming sites recently reported from 2 anonymous sources that a gameplay demo would be shown behind closed doors at E3 2018 to the media. What this comment sounds like is that there is going to be a teaser coming beforehand. So just speculating, I think there's a good chance around May we may actually see a short teaser clip hyping up an E3 reveal. Either way, these upcoming months are going to be very interesting. Some final other notes coming from this seminar is that Cyberpunk 2077 will be available on Steam. There has been some questions if it could be an exclusive to CD Projekt's GOG, but they confirmed it would be available through Steam. Additionally, something I've heard rumors about is a mini game attributed to Cyberpunk 2077, like Gwent is to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Within this presentation, we got confirmation that they are planning future free-to-play multiplayer games like Gwent, so don't be surprised if Cyberpunk 2077 has its own different little mini-game either before or after launch. Moving past this seminar, we actually still have quite a few other things to go through. The Mad Queen Show, one of the best sources for Cyberpunk content, link in the description as always to her channel, recently pointed out a potential leak of Cyberpunk 2077's world map. Within a recent video that showcased how Dell helped CD Projekt Red make their games, we get a look inside the office, and a very interesting image can be seen next to the world map of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Some people have said this is Cyberpunk 2077's world map. Now, earlier leaks have suggested the world of Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be 4 times bigger than The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which, with this potential image of the map, it looks much smaller. Although again, it's very difficult to say, and to be completely honest, if this is in fact the map, it could just be a certain part of the world or section of the world, and this does look very similar to Del Coronado Bay, which is only a very small part of Night City. Also, it does look like this image was a bunch of pieces of paper taped together, so who knows how big that actually is. Either way, this image is way too blurry to really see what it is, and my best guess is it's probably just a small section of the world. And I will say, CD Projekt Red really is good at creating conversation and hype. Next we have is another job listing, this one for a combat designer, which has the responsibility to take ownership of delivering memorable combat encounters that thrill and excite our players. So nothing really revealed, but combat and the approach CD Projekt Red has with it will be interesting, as some felt Witcher 3 Wild Hunts did not work all that well, although personally I loved every second of combat, but there is a very vocal bunch that claimed that that was a weakness. Moving on, I discussed this in my last video, but I feel I need to bring it up, and that is the other co-CEO of CD Projekt Red, Marcin Winski, and his comments on the Battlefront 2 mess that happened last year, because it reveals how they feel about the fight against loot boxes, but it also reveals some details relevant to Cyberpunk 2077 that really should excite players. Speaking to PC Gamer, first I'll bring up Winski's comments on the one-word teaser and the hype and excitement from it, in which he said, "It's a huge responsibility and a lot of pressure. We know we need to deliver, and we will." Now, getting into the loot box mess that really happened because of EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2, Winski said this, "Conversation sounds way too nice to describe what was happening last year. I would rather call it community backlash, and this time around, it wasn't just the hardcore community. There were a lot of really pissed off gamers out there, and they decided to speak up. Where we stand is quite simple, and you could see it with all of our past releases, most recently The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and Gwent. If you buy a full price game, you should get a big polished piece of content which gives you many hours of fun gameplay. The definition of many may vary on a title by title basis, but in our case, it was always 50 to 60 plus hours of the main storyline with up to a couple of hundred of hours of side activities if you really wanted to max out the title. To me, this is a fair deal. You get what you paid for. Plus, we are always trying our best to over-deliver. There's no better PR than a happy gamer recommending your title to their friends." So just from this, it really sounds like Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be massive. 60 hours of main storyline is something that you barely see in most single-player games. And hundreds of hours of side quests and activities is also something very little amount of games can provide. This is why we all love CD Projekt Red, and they keep showing this gaming industry how gamers and games should be treated. This is one of the primary reasons why I really hope this game sells 20 to 30 million plus copies, just showing all of the EAs and Activisions that if you invest the time and money into a great long single player experience, players will show up, because this live service crap being shoved down our throats is not what many of us wish to see. But getting back to Owinski's comments, he later continued saying, the moment they feel that you are reaching out for their wallet in any unfair way, they will be vocal about it. And frankly speaking, I think it's good for this industry. Things often look great from a spreadsheet perspective, but decision makers often aren't asking themselves the question of how gamers feel, or is this offer a fair one? Gamers are striking back, and I really hope this will change our industry for the better. Again, it's just nice to see at least one gaming company understand the perspective of gamers, which is why I really hope Cyberpunk 2077 is a massive success. No one wants any gaming companies to fail, but the EAs and Activisions treat their audiences as fools, constantly lying to our faces, which is why CD Projekt Red giving these comments and the ones in the past confirming no microtransactions in Cyberpunk 2077 is great to hear. But before I wrap this video up, a cool thing I want to share that I honestly didn't recall hearing anything about are the secret messages in our first teaser trailer, which there's actually 2 of them. The first on the screen is simply just saying that they are excited about the project and that the teaser contains hints at some of the weapons and companies or corporations that we will see in the game. This is a bit outdated, as it even teased The Witcher 3, as at the time this teaser came out, it was before the game was even announced. Some of the other things also said in this first little teaser: do you like our latest creation? We certainly hope so. You may remember that we sometimes send you guys secret messages like this. It's a great way for us to speak right to you instead of burying ourselves in corporate mumbo jumbo. Later in this secret post it said, so you want to know what kind of game Cyberpunk 2077 will be. The short description is that it will be a story-heavy, non-linear open-world RPG based on the well-known Cyberpunk pen and paper system and setting. Building open-world games is something that we are mastering right now, and we believe that properly joining non-linear gameplay with an excellent storytelling will bring a totally new quality. We'll tell some more about it soon. Crazy that soon would actually be 5 years later, and so much has happened. Reading some of the posts on this, some doubted an open world approach would be smart for The Witcher 3, but I can say here in 2018, 5 years later, it was a smart approach. Also, the last thing I want to add about this post, it said that we will release Cyberpunk to you when we're convinced it is nothing but pure, refined, unadulterated awesome. We want it to be the most kick-ass futuristic RPG ever. Okay, maybe this sounds pretty bully, but it is our actual goal. You judge if we deliver it. Now, the second message is a little more cryptic, as it hints the corporate company Raven Micro Cybernetics and a mysterious hex code. Either way, this was something that seems like it fell under the radar, but it still is pretty cool seeing these small little hints. Anyway guys, thank you for joining me. Let me know what you think about everything we discussed today in the comment section below, and also make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value. Also consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.